Hello, Nashville. This is Sheyla Paz with Entertainment Circle. Welcome back. Today, I have somebody dear to me. He's the director of content and membership relation of NECAT, Nashville Community Arts Television, where I serve as a board member and where I started my career as a TV host. Welcome, my dear friend Camilo. Cameron, how do you say your last name?
McCasland.
McCasland, how you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. Let me start a watch party here on Facebook so I can get more people watching because today is very important.
Sure
Uh,
thing.
so today is, if I can get this going, let's talk about you a minute before we get this going on Facebook.
Okay.
How long have you been working at NECAT?
I've been at NECAT just a little over a year. I came in actually part time. I just finished making a movie and was looking kind of at what I was going to be doing next. And so I kind of came into the office because I love public television and community access television specifically. I think is just a wonderful thing. So I was just kind of helping do some things around the office, and it just kind of fell in my lap. It was they needed someone to come in as director of content, and I came in. At the time, Trish Chris was the CEO of NECAT, and just as soon as I got in there full time, about 2 months later, I guess she decided that she was going to move on, and so for the past, I guess, 10 months or so, I've been kind of steering the boat over there. So it's been
Well,
interesting.
yeah, it's been kind of funny because it was about the same time that I joined the board,
Yeah,
and
I think you may have done one more meeting without me, but I think every time I've been there is the same time you've been there. So
yes, I think we had one meeting and before she quit, and then you joined.
right,
It was like, oh wow, this this is crazy. But you're doing an amazing job
thank you.
keeping everything going and keeping the members engaged.
Right.
So, how is the studio doing during this time?
It's good. It's been interesting. Obviously, the studio is closed to the public for safety's sake, but it's still considered essential. So we're still broadcasting all three of our channels 9, 10, and 19 in Nashville. We've had a lot of creators that had made shows at the studio and have taken the last 6 to 8 weeks to edit them and put them on the air. And we've had some people making some things from home that we have been able to broadcast and share, both via the web and on broadcast television. So it's interesting to see not only how NECAT's doing it, but how the entire world is kind of shifting to online content and making things on their telephones and just being more connected that way. I mean, even the show that we're doing right now, it's like
Yes.
we're in different places and we're able to talk. A couple of years ago, this would have been impossible, and so I don't know that there's ever a good time for a pandemic, but I can't imagine doing this just a couple of years ago. So
Yeah, I mean I never I started doing this because I thought, hey, I can still put information out there from my home, and the internet is a great asset. So why not? And
absolutely,
to have people informed and about what's going on, trying to keep them with a positive attitude, having artists on the show and talking, they doing music. Um, and this is great. We didn't have this opportunity before, and thank you so much for coming on
yeah,
and with last notice.
yeah. No, I'm happy to do it. So uh, I tell people all the time I've been I have two teenage daughters, and so I've been home with them basically for the last few weeks. So any conversation with another adult is appreciated at this point in my life.
Yeah. So you are not here in Nashville now.
Right.
I'm sorry for your loss. You just
Thank
lost
you.
your grandmother. So when are you going to be back in Nashville?
I will be back in Nashville. I'm actually leaving tomorrow morning and heading back towards town, and I'm going to put myself back into a 2 week quarantine. I had been in quarantine. I came down for this. My grandmother passed away at 97 from the virus,
Wow.
but she had a
Oh, I'm
wonderful
so
life,
sorry.
and we were just. It's been good to be with family, but for safety's sake, once I get back home, I'm going to enter back into a 2 week quarantine just to make sure that we're keeping everyone back home safe as
Mhm.
well. Um, but it's my plan is it's about a 10-hour, 11-hour drive back from basically Dallas to Nashville, so I'll hit the road tomorrow morning early,
So
and we'll
you're
be back.
driving?
I'm driving. Yeah,
Wow.
right now I don't really want to get on an airplane. I don't like airplanes in general, but especially not at the moment. I feel like the safest way to do it was drive. And I had a really nice drive down this past Sunday. It was all I saw on the roads were trucks from Amazon and Walmart. Everything else, it was smooth sailing all the way down. So it honestly, being in the house for so long, it was kind of like nice to be in the car because you get to see a whole lot of green space. And I was able to catch up on all my podcasts because usually I listen to that on the way back and forth to the TV studio in the mornings, and I haven't been making that drive. So I had a good amount of stuff stacked up to listen to.
Well, that's great to hear. And
Yeah.
talking about NECAT, how many members do we have right now at the station?
Roughly, I think we're about at 280 active members. Some of in the last couple of weeks, we've had some people that have joined up, but they haven't completed their classes yet, obviously, because the studio's not open. And we've had a couple people that have fell off that I'm sure will renew back whenever the studio is open and they can start making shows again. But we have about 280 active members. The studio right now, before this had started, we were running at almost maximum capacity, where we're open 5 days a week with 2 different time slots, and almost all of those have been booked up. So we've been making a lot of television this past year, and I've been really excited about the promise of the things to come. For me, it's always about the people, just being able to have a voice and make a thing that they want to make, and we've been able to do that for them. And I think like the whole world, we're all ready to get back to work and be able to be together again. And in the meantime, we're doing the best we can with what we have.
Yeah, that's true. And talking about the classes, do you have to be in the studio to teach the classes? I guess at least the technical side.
Right, that's the thing. On the technical side, it's best to have a hands-on experience, to be in the room, to run the cameras and the board and everything else that comes with us. It's funny because this year we've been doing a new installation for new equipment, and a lot of what we've been working on is doing training videos and trying to put that stuff together. So as we move forward, all that stuff will be there. I think the pandemic has just proven that is something that we need all the time. That way people can stay up on that, both as a refresher course and just, to get a feel for it. I think the longer that this lasts, and hopefully it won't last much longer, we're going to have to develop new ways to educate people on how to make television, if not at the studio, at home, and just find better ways of doing that. I think this stuck up on us, and I think it's true of just almost everybody on the planet. But hopefully, going forward, we're going to have better ways to make all that work, and we're cooking up some things right now. And like I say, I've seen a lot of creativity. I think the NECAT's greatest asset is the producers who create something all on their own. This is forcing them to think outside of the box and really do something, drastically different. And it levels the playing field because everybody's got this, whether you're Hollywood famous or if you're just trying to do a local show, you're under, the same quarantine, and you're basically left to a telephone. Maybe you got a couple, people using lamps around their house and just showing what talent they have, whether that be singing or doing a play. Or I've seen some really funny videos of people they're coming up with all kinds of wacky stuff just because I think they're bored. And so,
they become creative.
Absolutely. And I think that's what this time has given us back is time to process and think about things that we enjoy watching, and things that, it's funny because I think we enjoy seeing each other. I think the world has changed, and you think about how many people have become celebrity overnight from Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, become household names. I think this is going to I think you're going to see some of that at the end of when this is all over. There's going to be new people that have launched out of this that the world found that they never would have found if we hadn't all been at home making things and watching each other do what we do.
Yeah. And one of the main reasons that I wanted to have you on the show last minute is because today is a big day. Is the big pay? What is it? The big payback day.
The big payback.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay, I was just saying, this is the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee does this every year. Usually there's we're able to get together. So we're kind of doing this by the seat of the pants from the internet at this point. But the Big Payback, it helps places like NECAT and other nonprofits in Middle Tennessee. And there are a boatload of them, people that have helped out during the pandemic and we've had the tornado that happened right before that and storms that just happened in the last couple of days. There are nonprofits that are out there helping to get volunteers to make those things happen, providing food for people. Places like NECAT that offer both entertainment and information space, they make sure that things like this are possible. And out of the goodness of their hearts, people are able to donate because they see this as important. And I truly do believe that it's important for local people to have a voice. If we're all, watching the same thing all across America, that could be good. But the people on your street, the people that know Nashville, that know behind the scenes, where's the best restaurants and what are the best, just the different ways that we have in this town to do music and to do art and to just have voices that are very specific to the town that we live in. You can't get that outside of the city, basically, because we all know what we need and what the city needs and how the heart beats, in the city. So I think it's important to give during the Big Payback. We would love to have it at NECAT, but I think there's a lot of other great, places on that list for the Big Payback that are also worth taking a look at.
So if people want to donate, they can go to the bigpayback.org/NECAT. I just put the banner on the screen for people to donate. And that starts tonight, right?
Starts tonight at 6 p.m. local time in Nashville.
And for how long does that goes?
I believe it runs all the way into the evening, all the way to midnight. And even, honestly, I think you could even make a donation tomorrow. They actually put the link live a couple days ago, and I think it goes through all the way till tomorrow.
Oh, wow. And people can donate any amount of money that they would like to donate.
Any amount of money, big or small, and everything helps right now to keep it all on the air. And it all goes into local programming.
That's great. That's great. I know that NECAT is being affected too by this pandemic, and that people need to donate if they can. I mean, we are all affected by it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but the programming that NECAT offers is very important for our community because our producers are creating content that are for our community, and it's all free.
Right. And if anyone, our website is necatnetwork.org. If you decide that you want to make television here in Nashville, you can go on that website, sign up for a class, get involved, read more about what we do, and you can watch it there on the internet, or if you're in Nashville on channels 9, 10, or 19. If you're outside of Nashville, you can watch it on Roku. Just search NECAT and you can find it. And you can watch it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
You said NECAT.org?
NECATnetwork.org. Yep.
Okay, there it is. NECATnetwork.org. So if people want to sign up to become members, they can also find the information there and become. They can also not only become members, they can be donors. Not necessarily have to be a member.
Right. If there's a lot of people that they don't exactly want to make a television show, they don't have time to give back in that way, but they like the programming that's on there. So there is a way to do a one-time donation, a monthly donation, a yearly donation of any amount, and it's very simple to sign up on the website to do that and give directly there. Yeah,
that's great, Cameron. And besides your work on NECAT, you are an accomplished filmmaker. Let's talk about your films.
Sure. So I have done a lot of film and television, both feature-length films, short films, some documentary work, music videos, things like that. I've been working in Nashville. I've been here almost 20 years at this point, and have done music videos for country music acts. I'm Maren Morris, Big and Rich, Florida Georgia Line, things like that. I made a documentary that premiered last year called Jumpin' Johnny about a former Harlem Globetrotter who had some struggles with drug addiction. He beat the odds, got clean and sober, and helped hundreds of thousands of people find a way to sobriety. Fascinating man. I changed my life absolutely forever just learning about him, and done a lot of other things. We've had a show that actually airs on NECAT now, Dr. Gangrene's Sanitarium, that had ran on the CW for years and years. You may have seen some of that stuff. A lot of the late night monster movie kind of things. And it's been a really, I tell people all the time, it's a pretty interesting career whenever you look at your life and you go, well, I got to work with, these hit songwriters, and I got to, work with the Harlem Globetrotters. And I was like, it sounds like I'm in the Scooby-Doo gang whenever, you talk about that kind of stuff. It's hanging out in a haunted house with Dr. Gangrene and whatnot. So it's been an interesting life, and I wouldn't change it for anything. I like I said, I've been in Nashville almost 20 years. It's the best decision I ever made to start a career there as opposed to anywhere else. It's just been a good life, and I'm looking forward to the next 20 years and see what that looks like.
Well, we got the same amount of time here. I've been
Yeah,
almost 20 years too. Uh,
yeah,
and I never met you before I joined the board of NECAT, and I was that's where I started my career at NECAT in
yeah.
2006. So I appreciate you and your talent. And are you doing anything these days that are creative besides working at NECAT?
Yeah, so I've got a new movie that's almost finished. We had planned to finish the
All
shooting
right.
right before everything started. We weren't able to get our last shoot days in, but it's called Tales from Parts Unknown. It's an anthology series, so it's 4 different short films all put together in one package as a feature. If you ever watch the old like Twilight Zone the movie or Tales from the Crypt, it plays out a whole lot like that. So
Okay.
I don't exactly know when it's going to come out. We really had anticipated it would come out this year, but all the movie theaters are closed and all the film festivals have been canceled, so we don't exactly know when it's going to show up at this point. But it's probably the next thing that you'll see come out. I know that I've got another documentary that we've been working on the last year or so about basically athletes that have lost limbs and work from
Wow.
wheelchairs and things like that. That's been pretty interesting, and it's kind of in the process of being made, and we're following the athletes as they go out and do their events. And kind of the same thing, a lot of the events have been canceled, so the movie is we're still working on it, but our focus may have to shift a little bit just because let's say unprecedented times. That's the weird thing about a documentary is you kind of just have to go with what they give you, and right now what the world is giving us is what we're living in. So we're just trying to find new ways to tell that story.
Well, the Cannes Film Festival was physically canceled, but they are
Right.
doing an online screening in June. So
Right.
maybe there is more
Maybe.
avenues out there.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of changes all that, because I do think the best thing about any film festival, whether it's local or across the planet, is you go there, you see the sights, and you meet new people that you would not have met before.
Exactly.
And obviously, we can't do that right now. But I do think it's interesting to see how people are watching all their screens right now. I think it's people, not being able to go to the movie theater, they're watching things at home that they would never have watched before. And I think it's going to be interesting whenever they flip the switch and turn this all back on to see how that's going to change. I think it may be for the better. And what I've kind of realized over the years is the best of that stuff is always going to last. The Cannes Film Festival's not going away. It's always going to be there because it's magnificent. But some of the other stuff that may have not worked as well is it may disappear, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing. I hate to see any kind of, the smaller local film festivals are important, but hopefully this will bring a new audience to some of those that do it really well whenever we can't be together. And when we can, part of it. So we wait and see.
Talking about film festival, I know that you wanted to create a little project mini film festival for the NECAT members. Are you still working on that?
We are. So one of the things that I really wanted to do was create an avenue for filmmakers that had movies that they had taken out and showed at film festivals, give them a way to broadcast it on television, and also do an event here in Nashville where we could take different short films and package them all together and give them an audience here on television, where we may run a couple of hour blocks. So right now on NECAT, if you turn on the Arts channel in the morning, you can watch 4 hours of music videos, all independently produced artists and things like that. Some really slick production from great filmmakers that may not be the national artists that you recognize. I know the same thing exists for people that are making short films and even feature films. So what we want to do is give a space where people can send their movie in, we can put it on the air, and people can find a new, just find a new audience through that, and trying to program like things together. So we may do a block of do an hour of documentary shorts and do an hour of romantic movies and do an hour of you know dramas or horror movies or all the different kind of things people like. Really program these things specifically where it's not just a jumble of films, but really curate some of the best stuff and try to show people a selection of all these great things that are being made around the world that you wouldn't have seen if you didn't go to a film festival. And even take the best of that stuff for the people that are local and do an event at the studio where people can come watch it at the studio. We have a great facility where people can come in. It's a big room. We put a screen up. It gets dark. We usually pop some popcorn and pass out some soda. It's a fun night out. So whenever we can all be back together again, I hope you all will come and join us there for that.
Yes, I am very excited because all the new equipment that are being installed at the studio. So I even want to go and take a class again because I want to learn about the new technology that is being installed.
It is, and that's one of the things. One of the great things that we put in to the studio was something kind of like this, where you could do a video chat, do a Skype call in, and things like that at the studio, where it's real simple. I think people are getting really used to watching this kind of stuff right now because we're forced to. So the great thing is, whenever we're all back at the studio, it's going to have a better camera setup than what you're seeing right now on my laptop, and it's being able to maybe a little bit more slicker produced, but the same kind of features where you can jump in and drop people who maybe aren't in Nashville even or can't get down to the studio. You can still talk to them from across the globe. I think it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I can't wait to get all of us back together and having our regular meetings. And again, if you guys want to donate today, starting at 6 p.m. to the Big Payback and NECAT, Nashville Entertainment Community Arts Television. If you don't know, you can go to the bigpayback.org/NECAT. The link is on the screen. And donate whatever you can. And if you want to become a member, then you can go to NECATnetwork.org.
Perfect.
That's a mouthful.
It is. It doesn't roll off the tongue exactly, but
no, NECATnetwork.org to become a member or to donate. Thank you so much, Kim.
Thank you
for coming on last minute. You're welcome. And, you can share this interview on your group for NECAT or for your friends on Facebook so they can see it and they can go on and donate. I appreciate you, my friend. Take care.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. So like I said, if you would like to donate to NECAT, it's the Nashville Community Arts Network. That's where I started my career on television at the Nashville Public Access Television Network. And they are in need, like everybody else, for funds. And it's a nonprofit organization. And many of you who want to become a producer or want to have a TV show or want to learn about television just for the sake of it, you can go and take the classes and become a member or donate just one time to keep the studio going. There is a lot of programming there that is beneficial for all the community, and most of a lot of the producers that have TV shows there are locally, and they have in different languages: Spanish, English, Japanese, Vietnamese, all kind of languages, music, art, business, whatever you like to create, that is there for you. Is your local platform to reach your community, to be involved, and create your next success story, basically. So that's it for me today. If you would like to support my work as a journalist, you can go to my website, eastcircletv.com, and there is a donate button on the left corner on the top. And you can donate whatever you like there to support my work. And you can follow us on social media, on Twitter at Spanish TV Nash, Instagram Spanish TV Nashville, and here, of course, in Facebook, Entertainment Circle, and there is also a button right there where that it says donate or book now or whatever you like to do. That's it for me for today. Take care, and from my house to yours, ciao.